Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, folks, and welcome to the show. It's a big day for Ubisoft here, and we are super excited you've joined us to see what we have to share. My name is Chris Waters. I'll be your host for this first little bit here as we play some Trackmania, get into the competition and creativity of Ubisoft's latest release. So before I introduce my competitors below, let's talk schedule. Right now, we're taking a look at Trackmania. We're going to talk with the developers. We're going to play the game a little bit. We're going to show off all that this game has to offer. At 11:30 a.m. following this bit, it's going to be the Ubisoft pre-show. Ghost Recon Breakpoint team is going to show off more about the AI teammates. The Crew 2 is going to share an update, and we'll see news from Trials Rising and a whole bunch more. Once that's concluded, it's going to be time for the main event, Ubisoft Forward, at noon Pacific time, or when that timer reaches 0. That's the main showcase. We'll see Watch Dogs Legion. We'll see Assassin's Creed Valhalla and some new announcements as Ubisoft shows off the latest and greatest just for you. After that, it's going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're taking an in-depth look in the post-show, so be sure to stick around for it all. It's going to be a fun day. Now, if you see a code on screen pop up, go ahead and enter that into Uplay on your PC for a chance to win a free copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Far Cry New Dawn, Trials Rising, or The Division 2. And without further ado, it's time to introduce the racers below. We're getting warmed up. Belinda Garcia, welcome to the show.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you here.
A great time in this warm-up mode.
Great time? I mean, I feel like were you slightly sideways? I mean, that's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's always a good time.
Fred Carmichael, I know that you are known to throw a flip or two. How's it been going out here for you?
It's not going so good right now, but yeah, we're making it down very slowly. Very slowly.
I'm sure Richard Sanford will be happy to hear the slowly part of that answer. Richard, what do you think?
Hey, yeah, oh no, I'm super happy. Yeah, you all take as much time as you need. Take it nice and slow. I would love that.
Taking the scenic route.
Well, you know, this downhill route is definitely trickier than it looks. But fortunately, we're playing time attack here. This is the classic Trackmania mode for anyone who's familiar. You just get, we're on the track for about 3 minutes, and we get to run it as many times as we can, trying to set the best time and trying to top those leaderboards before it is through. Oh.
It is dangerous, though.
It is.
Hills are unforgiving.
I feel like it reaches a point where you just decide to throw the hammer down and
yeah.
At this point, control goes out the window. I'm just gonna try to careen down as fast as I can.
Just kind of lift up your hands.
Yeah,
that's all I need. I don't care what way.
I love how 3 of us have 21 seconds right now.
I know, we're really close. Hopefully I can get a little bit of a smoother run. You know what they say. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Is that what they say?
What do they say about going upside down?
No big deal. Just got my fastest time. No big deal, though.
What was it?
17 seconds.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Set the time to be here.
It may have been luck, but
yeah, it may have been luck. Yeah, it may. Oh man, now I'm feeling bad.
You didn't talk to your car enough.
Nah, you're right. Yeah, you know what? I should have meditated. Yeah.
Got to commune with the vehicle as you were talking a big game about connecting on a spiritual level with your car.
You know what? I heard that from some other drivers. It's best if you kind of really get to learn more about your car, but that doesn't seem to be working.
Maybe
17
just
seconds.
17 seconds. Oh, you even improved your time a little bit, Rich. Belinda, you're nipping at my heels here. This is good competition. I like this, folks. I like this.
I'm more tumbling down than driving down.
Yeah, it's okay. I can keep it in control, but then I'm going a little too slow, and then I start going fast. Oh man, someone's definitely on the lid.
It's all over for me. I can't do anything.
I'm trying the super fast.
20 seconds to beat 17.
No.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to beat it.
Oh man, yeah, this is down. Do I have one last ace
run?
I'm
upside down.
Oh no.
Let's get a 12-second run here. Let's go.
Me and Belinda are literally upside down at the same spot.
I see you.
Restarting the checkpoint. Still not nice.
No, I don't know how you got 17 seconds, Fred.
Oh, Fred takes the time attack. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, now we're going to mix it up and we're going to check out some rounds. Let's get into that. Now, rounds is where you race the same track. Everyone starts at the beginning at the same time and finishes. You don't get to like loop it. It's one run, and then you get points based on your placement. And then after a few rounds, I think we've got 3 per track here. Whoever's the point winner wins. Oh, gosh.
No, you were zooming,
That's
dude.
That's a wall. That's a tree. That's a tree.
The trees are much more dangerous on this map.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I lost.
There we go. I like it. I like it. No, don't tree. No, okay, cool.
Don't tree. Don't tree.
Don't tree, please. But Linda, you were zooming though.
I was zooming, but then the trees happened.
I
All
tried
right.
to cut through the dirt, and that didn't end well.
The cut through the dirt. Yeah, I feel like Trackmania, if you're going to take a shortcut, you better be airborne or something, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're scrubbing speed off badly.
That where you
All
have
right.
to have complete control.
Oh, the wall, man.
I mean, I'm consistently fast as long as the track is just going in a straight line.
Yeah. Which works for me, dude. It's
Not
you-
really the Trackmania
Oh, I
vibe.
cut through, I cut through, I cut through, I cut through.
That mantle is all yours, Fred. See, I think I'm figuring out what happened. The previous round, I talked to my car about going fast and not necessarily managing the bumps. Now, you know, the car's just like, oh, we want to go fast now. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go fast.
Gotta go
Oh,
fast.
Rich is out to a commanding lead
Yeah,
here.
he's got a lot of points up there. I don't
20
understand what's
points.
going on.
I gotta.
What's going on is that you are losing.
I'm never making that turn. I don't
No!
know how you
Oh, that's it.
Oh, cut through.
It's like one false move.
All right, Fred, I see you.
There we go.
I'm not too worried, though, because
That's true. I don't know if I can
Got the
actually
points.
catch up.
Got the points.
right now.
you got 10 points, Fred.
So,
All right, let's
Enjoy
see.
them.
What do we got? Rich up top with the 26. Oh, Fred in second with the 19. Then it's me and then Belinda. And shout out to Anthony, who's in our spectator seat. He's showing you the action. And we're going to switch it up now and get onto another match here. Another round. Rich, coming for you. Now it's time to tangle with a little bit of the more, I don't know, challenging is the right word, but kind of mix it up elements of Trackmania, such as right from the start, we get this crazy move!
yeah, I was flying.
Don't fly over the edge. Oh, you all instead ran right in front of me. Darts.
Oh,
Usually I
no.
fly over the
Nice
edge, so
start.
I'm already doing well.
You mean nice start.
I'm loving this start. It's so
Oh,
good.
Fred, you're
Why-
so fast.
Why are you zooming like this?
So fast. How? How is everyone so fast? I don't
Oh no!
understand.
Oh, I went up too high on the wall. Oh, okay, recovered. That was a pretty slick, actually, bounce off the wall. I mean,
This is where it all
Flip.
falls apart.
not great for
Oh,
my
here's
time.
the drift.
Yep.
Turn right to go left, turn right to go left.
I don't like that at all.
It's like unmanageable.
This huge ice wall, you mean? I think
The
it's kind of
giant ice.
Oh, what?
No,
No.
no. Oh, gotcha.
The trick is you just
Smoked
don't
me at the
slow
end.
down
It
at all.
did.
Ooh, Fred
Hey,
out
Fred.
to the early lead. Nice.
Yeah, Fred, I'm gonna need you to hit one of those pillars.
All right, I got you. Got you right.
No problem. No problem. Happy to apply. Very considerate of you, Fred. All right, you can tell when I'm making not a great maneuver by when my voice.
Oh, Rich,
Oh,
hold
man.
on, where you going?
The
Beep,
pillar
beep.
curse. The cursed pillar.
First pillar.
Yeah, the thing. It's that thing where like if you end up, you want to look at them so that you know where they are and can avoid them. But if you look too long, you end up focusing on them, and then it draws you inexorably in.
Hi.
I don't appreciate that, Rich. I don't
All right.
appreciate that.
All right, yeah. True.
Ooh, all right. Well, as Belinda and I battle it out for third, it's Fred and Richard at the top. Oh no, I didn't start quick.
She's good at this.
Got him.
At the top, battling for that top spot here in our second round competition.
Who's gonna
Obviously,
hit
the stakes are high.
Oh gosh, I messed up. Yeah, I hit it.
Oh, the
no.
pillar. I made it.
It might be all over. Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
What happened?
Oh my goodness. How?
I don't know what's happening because you guys are behind me.
Oh, the grass got me that time. Grass is also bad.
Easy
All these
now.
terrains.
I just went so high in the air.
No.
Off
Woo.
on purpose.
I do not have the juice to make it across this terrain. Melinda.
There we go.
I'll give this one to Rich. I'll give this one to.
I am
mean,
in the cactus
also-
lands. I should
You
have
also gave the previous one to me too.
Yeah, you asked nicely, so
True. Yeah.
Got Chris out of third.
Not
All
a
that
great
matters.
round for me. All right, let's go to our third and final map here and settle who the real champion is. It's going to
Coming
be
for
Richard.
ya.
All right, well, we're coming into the final rounds match now. The final track. Fred, you have been a contender for the number one spot here, but so far Richard's been getting the best of you. What's your approach to this track?
he's fast, but not fast enough. I got this one. This one's kind of tricky, so I'm pretty confident.
Feeling good? You feeling
Yeah.
spry?
Yeah, I'm good.
I like it. Belinda, I think you're out in front of me. Could you please, not... Is that
I'm
it?
sure-
Is that okay?
I'm
No.
trying
Keep
to give you a
going,
little.
Belinda.
Nope. You're right on my tail.
We're all pretty close. Oh, crap.
We are.
These little bumps, big bumps in this track, are very hard to maneuver over.
Oh, yeah. This raised, it's banked if you hit it from one direction, but then if you go over the hump, it's gonna be a little trouble.
You just gotta
Oh, gosh.
believe. You just gotta
Oh,
believe.
man.
Keep it going.
All right, Chris
Gotta
and
get-
Belinda, I'm gonna need you both to beat Fred, please.
Nah.
Oh, you're gonna recruit us.
Yes.
You're right.
Now we're all
Rich is gonna
teaming
go
up.
flying off the track right at the beginning. Here. Wow.
The
I
pressure's on.
mean, his gamer tag is UB Rich. Is that a promise if we comply?
Yes, it absolutely is.
You
Yes,
will be rich.
Absolutely. You will be rich.
Be rich in satisfaction that Richard won, I guess.
Yes.
I want to take a number one spot at least once during this
Take
diggity
it,
dang
Chris.
broadcast.
I'm happy with 3. I like the
Oh,
bronze.
man.
Happy with the bronze.
Is up there.
Yeah, I don't know how he's doing that.
Ooh, it's just, I told you, you gotta talk to your vehicle. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
all right. Game
Oh
mode
man,
now.
that's
That's a
could be a
bad one.
close one. I don't know. This could be a close one.
These points are adding up. That was a big bite. Rich down in third.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
No.
here we go. This is gonna settle
Slow
it.
and steady. Slow and steady in the back. Taking the scenic route.
Taking the scenic route. Take our viewers on a lovely journey here. Oh gosh. Ooh, little hippity hop. Think
Oh,
about
no.
those. Just think about those hippity hops.
Too scared to go off the track. I don't know how you guys avoid it.
Fearless.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I mess up right there every single
Good.
time.
I'm getting quiet because I really want to get a first place finish on at least one of these races.
Oh no.
Coming
Great.
third, Fred.
That's so bad.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh man.
It's
in the
worse when you
mail.
think.
I can't believe I messed up again.
Ooh.
I did it again. Oh.
Yes. Yeah, I was never really worried. I was never really worried. I always knew how this
You're
was going to
sweating.
end.
His palms are sweaty.
No.
Oh,
I don't like
live
that.
ranking there. UB Rich wins the match. GG.
GG's.
Nicely done. All right, folks, that's going to bring our little Let's Play kind of competitive segment here to an end. I want to thank y'all for participating. Belinda, nice work out there.
I tried. I just love the scenery. I was just taking my time.
Listen, it's fun to get out there in a fast car and just do some things.
I agree.
Fred Carmichael, close, but no cigar this time around. Are you plotting your revenge already?
I'll get him next time.
Richard, is there going to be a next time, or are you just going off into the sunset with this W?
I mean, I'm definitely driving off into the sunset, but even if there is a next time, I don't think he's going to beat me.
And thus a rivalry is born, or maybe continued?
Yeah.
Yeah, continue, definitely.
Thank you all for joining so much. Folks, coming up next, we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the map editor and some of the creation tools in Trackmania. But first, let's do a little schedule check-in. After our Trackmania segment here, it's going to be the Ubisoft Forward pre-show at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, where we'll be seeing some AI teammates coming to Ghost Recon Breakpoint, getting an update from the crew too. Trials Rising will be showing off a fan favorite, and we'll see a whole bunch more games on display. Then at noon Pacific time, when that timer runs out, it's going to be Ubisoft Forward, the main showcase, Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, some new announcements, and more. Don't want to miss that one. And after it's over, stick around for an in-depth look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's all coming up here shortly. But now I've got Augustin de Vita, producer at Ubisoft Nadeo, the creators of Trackmania, joining me to talk about creation in Trackmania. Augustin, welcome.
Hello, Chris. So happy to be here.
Oh, man. Exciting times for you. Your game has just launched. People are out there racing in droves. How does it feel?
It feels great. I mean, it just feels great. The game is really, really good. It's really an evolution of Trackmania, and we couldn't wait for it.
And also, folks are out there creating stuff. We see right here, we're seeing some map creation sped up. We got a little time-lapse thing pre-prepared for us here as we talk through the map creation mode. But I guess give us like an overview starting off, Augustin. What was your team's goal when like putting these creative tools in the hands of players?
So we always want the tools to be easy to handle, and the big issue we were facing that there is too many blocks in the game. There is 1,600 blocks in the game actually, and so we had to organize all the tools and to organize the new features. And he's doing a great job right now because he knows what he's doing. But when you start making the first map, you really don't know where you're going to. It's really hard to get to. And,
when you say blocks.
Really
sorry to interrupt, but when you say blocks, you just mean all these little pieces that we're seeing of track, planted this way, that way, this terrain, that terrain. Yeah,
that's how it works. Every piece of the map is what we call a block. So it's some size, and you can go like diagonal. You have roads, you have decoration, you have checkpoint, start, finish, you have boosters. And all of this makes a map, so there is so many blocks that there is an infinite combination possible in the map editor.
And there's also trees, as I know from personal experience.
Yeah, you can get into them pretty quickly in the game.
So we're seeing here the player's not just sort of creating the map, they're also like, okay, I added a little bit, now I'm testing a little bit, now I'm adding a little bit. That testing is kind of like the immediate feedback on, is this working, is it not, is this the feel I like, is it not?
Yeah, you always have to test what you're doing just to see if the curve is right, if the speed is right. And we added some tools for that. So, for example, when you test and then you come back to the game, you have your ghost to see what was your speed at this time and to try to reproduce or to do better than him. So you can try every part of the game and get really good in really good map for the players.
Interesting. Okay, so when you're starting out, obviously we're seeing someone with some map creation skills. But when players are starting out, are there some tools to help them out? Is it pretty? What do you recommend in terms of like, okay, when you're starting out, just try to make like a simple shape, or try to just put in a sick jump, and that's good.
Yeah, well, in the free version of Trackmania, there is what we call a simple editor. So there is a simple editor and advanced editor. What we're seeing now is the advanced editor, so with all the tools, all the blocks. And the simple editor is like a best of blocks. So the blocks you need to do like a simple track, but a good one. You can at least make a good one. And I recommend to start with this. And then after you can get to the advanced editor and make crazy stuff like he's doing right now.
Nice. Now, is that advanced editor pretty akin to what the Trackmania team uses to create the actual tracks in the game?
Yeah, it's exactly the tools that we are using every day to make the track. Every tool we put in the game, we give it to the player as well, so they can make the same track as us.
Nice. So you can challenge people to beat you at your own game a little bit?
Yeah, and sometimes they're better than us. They do tracks that amaze us. I mean, I played some tracks that I always remember because it was so great.
Well, that's when you hire them for the team, right?
Yeah, it happened. We hire a lot. Well, the guy doing the video right now he used to be a player and he's still a player, and now he's working with us. And we always have like pro players coming into the team and designers and level designers.
That's very cool. So, I mean, we're talking here about the Trackmania community then. There are people out there going to be creating these tracks. If they're creating the tracks, they want people to race on them. How do they get folks in the seats, to race on their track?
It's really simple with the next Trackmania, because now once you're done with your track, you can just put it out there on what we call a server review, a map review server, and they can, like, everybody can come up and test your tracks. They can rate your tracks, and when they rate it, they give it, for example, 5 stars. Afterwards, if your track is good for the players and we decide it's good, we're going to add it at what we call Track of the Day, which is like the front page of the game, and everyone is going to play it for sure. Every day there is a new track made by the players.
Nice. And so there is also that like server where can any player just kind of go in and be like, let me see what new creations people have today, and then rate them. So if that's your thing, if you're looking maybe for inspiration or just looking to try some wacky new tracks, that's a spot people can go.
That's why I do. I always go to this server like every day and try new maps, even if nobody is like pushing a map right now. There is always maps pushed earlier in the day, so there is always tracks to test and new tracks to test. It's really great.
Nice. And so if you get that, so you get your track in there, you get enough stars, get considered by the team, and you select them as a track of the day, then people are racing it, and there's some incentives for people to get on that track as well, right?
Yeah, every day there will be what we call a competition, a daily competition on this new track at 7 p.m. CST, and this competition rewards with what we call trophies, and those trophies gives you like a rank a global rank in Trackmania. So every day you have to come, if you want to come to compete on this track, and then you earn trophies and you get better in the game, and you can rank up in the global ranking of the game.
Ah, nice. And speaking of competition, we are going to be seeing some of the top community racers take on this very track here in just a few moments, folks, in our next segment. Right now, we're talking with Augustin about creation in Trackmania. And so far, we've focused on the map editor, the track creator that we're seeing in kind of a time-lapse fast forward here. But there's also other creative outlets. I mean, you can customize, for example, the livery on your car.
Yeah, what we call skin in Trackmania. So you can create any skin you want with what we call a skin painter, and you can share it really easily with the world within clubs. In just one click, you can find new skins that you like, and you can apply them or add them to your favorites. It's really changing game for Trackmania. It's never been so easy to change skin and discover new skins.
What's your approach here, Augustin? Do you like pick one you like and stick with it for months, or are you like switching it up every other day, mixing it up?
Yeah, I'm switching every day to a new skin. I just go to the list and see, oh, this one is nice, so let's apply it, and then I have my skin in the game. So every day I change skin.
Excellent. Yeah, it's so fun to see what people come up with, and I imagine this is also something for you. These are the creation tools you use, your team is used to create the tracks, the skins, etc. But to a certain extent, you give the tools to the players, they're going to come back and surprise you.
Yeah, they're always like surprising us with really great new invention. I mean, they can create mods as well, game mods. So they're going to create new things every day, and every day it's blowing us.
And one of the things that I have really enjoyed, even when not playing Trackmania, is seeing some of the like highlight reels people put together, because as we'll see a little bit later on, and as you folks who know Trackmania know very well, Trackmania tracks can get pretty wild, and the kind of precision, the like just like excellent slick like drift precision that people can display looks really cool, and you have some in-game tools to help people showcase that stuff.
Yeah, on every track you can save your replay, and then you can use it to make your own videos. So this tool is as well the tools that we're using to make trailers, and at the same time players can make their trailers. They can add up 1,000 cars on the same track to do like a wave, what we call 1K project, and it's really cool to see what they can do with that, because they can change the light, they can change the skins, they can change the color, they can display text in the editor, and it's really, really great.
Well, there we have our completed track. Don't forget to save your tracks when you're creating them, folks. And we'll be taking a look at this. There's an autosave. Excellent. Yeah. Augustin, you put a lot of people's hearts at ease just then. We'll be taking a look at that track in action in just a few moments here. But Augustin, before I let you go, I wanted to touch base on just kind of again that community aspect of how do people find these creations? What's a great way? Like there's the club system that sort of allows people to connect to different clubs of friends, or maybe this club focuses on certain types of races, and et cetera, et cetera. Just give us an idea of how people are going to share these creations and discover people's creations.
Yeah, so in the game there is what we call clubs, and you can create or join any clubs you want, private, public, with friends, for example, or just a streaming community within a club. And within those clubs, you can share skins, you can share maps, you can create what we call a campaign, which is the same tool we're using to create our own campaigns with 25 maps. And you can create also events, so people can gather around and use the same skin, for example, have a club tag and compete within each other on leaderboards and share everything they can. They can also share videos, for example. It's really
Excellent. Great. Well, it sounds like there's lots of tools for folks to get creative, to share those creations, to discover new stuff, in addition to just racing and trying to beat the tires off of each other.
Yeah.
Excellent. Augustin, thank you so much for joining us to talk a little bit more about Trackmania. Folks, remember, Trackmania is available now. Download and play it for free on the Epic Games Store and on Uplay. Augustin, thank you for joining us, and congrats.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
All right, folks, we've got some competitive play coming up here just shortly, but first, another schedule reminder of the order of events today. Our Trackmania showcase continues until about 11:30 Pacific time. Then it's the Ubisoft Forward pre-show. We'll be taking a look at AI teammates in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, getting updates for the Crew 2, hearing from Trials Rising about a special new track for fans who like long rides, and a bunch more. Then at noon Pacific time, it's the main event, Ubisoft Forward, with Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and more from Ubisoft's upcoming lineup of games. Stick around immediately following the show for a deeper look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And for now, it's back to the track. Joining me now is Omar Benabdallah, live producer at Ubisoft Nadeo, to talk about all the ways that Trackmania can get a little more competitive. Omar, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, and you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to see some skills. I mean, not that we had no skills earlier. This is a whole different level, right? Because these are some of the top racers in the community.
Yeah, what we did basically is invite the 6 or 7, I think, best players of the closed alpha we organized, and we'll be seeing them racing in rounds mode, so they all start at the same time, and the fastest guy win.
All right, who's your money on here at the outset?
I'll just take the easy pick and go with Shorty since he won that round.
There he is. He's at top of the pops right there.
Yeah.
And keen-eyed viewers will note this is the track we just saw being created, and actually the 5th place player, I think, in that round is the one who made it. So, Tona, you can step it up. I believe in you.
Probably can win at least one round.
I believe it. So as we watch them compete, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about, how people kind of like take on new competitive challenges in Trackmania. Because, right from the get-go, you start playing, there's the inherent competition of racing. You're trying to get a better medal, a faster time, and you're racing against your friends. But what are some of the other ways people can kind of get into that broader competitive scene?
Basically, what we try to do is to design features that will be good for any kind of level you have on Trackmania, whether you're a professional player or just someone that wants to discover the game and get better each day. So you'll have a lot of new ways to train and get better at the game, gaining more medals, maybe reaching the gold medals on all the maps of the official campaign, which is a great achievement already. You'll be able to play against VIPs, ghosts, which means that you'll be able to compete against yourself or against your favorite streamer, against your friends. So yeah, quite a lot of possibility to get better at Trackmania.
Nice. So I like the streamer touch, because then if you're watching them in the chat, say like you can kind of see when they've laid down the time and then go take yourself to the track and see how you stack up.
That's good. Like that's a feature we love at the studio because you can compare yourself against someone you would love to play against and maybe beat him and be happy with that.
Excellent. Shout out to Tona, who did take that second win on the track of his own creation. Nicely done. So we're on to a new track here, and see, that's the kind of move that when I'm flying really out over the over Oblivion.
We all did. Like it took us some time to get used to those new way of driving.
Yeah, and so these folks have played a little bit already, but in terms of what they're seeing, what competitive players are seeing in Trackmania, what's kind of some stuff that's going to be a little bit, oh my goodness, no way.
That's scary. It's okay, that's only the warm-up.
It's so only the warm-up.
Yeah.
No wonder they're sending it. No wonder.
Yeah.
In terms of like, okay, so you've done your sort of like, you've done your solo competition. You want to like maybe compete with players on a broader scale, seek out folks who race around the same time as you. Like, what are some good ways to do that?
Well, what we have currently on the game will be daily cups, which is something completely new for Trackmania, where you'll be able to compete against every player in the world which wants to participate every day at 7 p.m. European time, and basically you'll be able to see how good you are on the track of the day and compete against everyone in the world and see how good you are against each other. Then obviously you have the Nations League, which will happen each week, where you'll be able to represent your country and see which country is the best basically each week on the game. And then the Open Grand League, which is a great way to feel the pressure of the professional players because you'll be playing on the same maps and the same format as the Grand League. So you'll be basically living the experience of a professional player by playing the Grand League. And maybe if you get good, maybe at some point you'll be joining the Grand League and play against the 16 best players in the world.
Oh my goodness! Well, we see Grand League plastered all over this track here. That's the sort of highest level of Trackmania esport.
It is basically what we have on the Grand League is the 16 best players in the world. You cannot have anyone better than them, and we just put them on a special format that we designed where everything is possible until the end and the last second of the last track. So it's really great to see, and we are excited for the next season, which will start on September.
Nice. So in September, more Grand League action coming your way. But there's a lot of competitive space in between the tip top for you to get involved. And is that something that in terms of like, I just booted up Trackmania, I've raced a little bit. Is that going to be easy for players to find? What's the way to get into that?
Yeah, you'll have an in-game menu which is called events, and basically you'll be able to check out the events you want to play maybe during the week, and it will be also easy for the people to create events through the clubs, where you'll basically be able to create an event in less than 2 minutes and decide which map you want to have, which kind of format. So we made everything easier for everyone on Trackmania.
Nice. So that can even be just you creating the events to just play with your friends or your classmates or whatever else. Yeah. Nice. And so these clubs, this is kind of a way, like clubs are also a way that people can get into, finding people who, like to race at the same time again, or, are friends or are connected through different ways. And the clubs can be kind of any size, right?
Yeah. You can have a club which is completely private and where you play only with your friends or your roommates, classmates, or you can just have a public club which is available and joinable by everyone and just have fun with a lot of people doing a lot of events and organizing a lot of content.
And maybe just a club that focuses on huge jumps like the one we just saw there.
Like we see, only jumps maps and that will be quite great, I would say. Quite fun also.
This is a pretty close match.
Actually,
the top leader only has a few points ahead, so I like it. Thanks for recruiting these folks into the action here to give us a look at some real speedy, real tight turns.
Yeah, you can see how good they are by their drifts and how well they know the maps, obviously, since they've been playing the alpha for I think a bit more than 2 or 3 months now. So they're getting used to the game and they're playing really good compared to what we do.
I wish I had watched them play before our session earlier, but that's all right. For the future,
you can play against their Ghost if you want to learn the map, actually.
That's true. Although,
Yeah.
can you really learn from a ghost if it just screams out ahead of you so fast you can't even see it?
Just try to follow it.
I'm gonna work my way up. So these community events, this kind of this stuff that is organized through clubs, so it's organized through clubs, which is kind of organic, and players all around the world can make that happen. But you at Nadeo are also sort of curating stuff and experiences and events for players to get into.
Yeah, what we try to do is to have a mix of community event, where basically we have players organizing event. That's something that is there for more than 14 years now on Trackmania, so we love to see that. We love to see community creating content on our game. We also organize ourselves, our events through the Grand League, the Daily Cups, the Nations League, and things like that. So it's kind of a mix of trying to get content for every kind of players, and also a way to be able to create content and events, whether you're a great player or just want to have fun with your friends.
Nice. Wow. The time separating the top finishes.
That's really great, and that's really fast.
Is very, very tight here as we move on to, I believe, our fourth and final map of this competitive section.
And it's still really close.
All right, folks, it's down to the wire. Omar, still believing in your racer Shorty out there?
Yeah, I think he's first. So
I mean,
still
came in
confident.
first that race.
Yeah, and that's a great map. Everything can happen there. So might be someone overtaking Shorty.
Do you like that kind of map where, I mean, it's exciting, right? Because dramatic stuff can happen, but also it's a little scary. Like, you can just fly off the track and
lose
everything.
Yeah,
it's all gone.
you can go from first to last just basically by doing one mistake and one short mistake. So that's pretty exciting for the spectators. It's not that fun for the players, obviously, because you don't want to lose everything on one turn. But yeah, that's how you handle pressure on Trackmania.
Yeah, at some point, fun becomes it's the thrill. You're risking a lot more for the bigger payoff, right?
Yeah.
What do you call this kind of road surface here that's like a hill in the middle? I was trying to figure this out earlier.
Actually, we do have a name, but I don't like to use it. I just let people call it as they want. I'm calling it a different way in French, obviously.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Basically, everyone can name the road as they want, and there's many ways to say it, select the road we are seeing right now.
The language of racing. It takes many forms.
Yeah.
All right, so we're watching the competition play out here. Once people, Trackmania is out now, free to download and play. What would you recommend in terms of okay, I just want to get into the competition against other folks. I want to challenge myself right out of the gate. What's the best way to get that started?
To be quite honest, the best thing will be to play the Daily Cup, because you'll be facing players from all around the world on a track that is known only each day. So the track of the day map. So you'll be able to see how good you are against other people, and you can do that every day, so you can maybe see your progression on the whole week, and maybe at the end of the week you'll be able to beat people that you wouldn't even think about on the early state of the week.
I like that. I like that kind of because a lot about kind of competition is that progression and the sense of moving up in the rankings, but also of this person is always the one who I see a few places ahead of me. You're chasing them. Yeah. You want to track them down. Now this is our last race. Is that right?
Yeah, last round, and Shorty is second. So I have quite some pressure, to be quite honest.
The pressure is on. They're coming around these not quite slalom, but he's in there. Oh,
yeah.
Yep, coming up around this big, it's S turn.
He's still first. I believe in him.
He can feel the positive vibes coming from you.
You can see the slow motion vlog there. Just quite fun also to watch. And he's finishing first. Great.
There he goes.
I got it.
It looks like Omar backed the right racer. Shorty coming in with a victory. And Omar, thank you so much for talking about competitive Trackmania. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
Well, obviously, thank you for having me, and thanks to the players for playing this competition. Thanks to all the closed alpha players we had, because they help us truly to make this game better, and we're pretty happy with the Trackmania we have right now. So yeah, just play Trackmania, it's free, and have fun on it. I'm pretty sure you'll have, and yeah, that's it.
All right, Omar, thank you so much. Trackmania, folks, it's out now on Epic Games Store and Uplay. Go ahead and download it. Get in there and get racing. Now, our time with Trackmania is coming to a close, and it's on to the next show. Ubisoft Forward pre-show is starting momentarily. We're going to take a look at Ghost Recon Breakpoint, The Crew 2, Trials Rising, new stuff coming from all these games. You're not going to want to miss it. And then when the countdown timer hits 0, it's Ubisoft Forward, the big showcase of the latest and greatest upcoming games from Ubisoft, followed by an in-depth look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We got a lot more in store for you, so let's go ahead and throw it over to Kat.
Thank you, Chris, and hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ubisoft Forward pre-show. The main event will be starting in just 30 minutes and will feature news from our unreleased games, including Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Hyperscape, and more.
Now to warm up, we have 30 minutes of updates from the games you're already playing, like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Trials Rising, and The Crew 2, as well as some exclusive behind the scenes so you can get to know us a little better. So let's kickstart this pre-show with an update from Just Dance 2020. If you're a Just Dance fan and want to win some cool swag, head over to the Just Dance website for all the details. For our next segment, we have something a little different than what we usually do. A few years ago, Ubisoft created the Ubisoft Entrepreneurs Lab and the Open Innovation Accelerator. This allowed us to create partnerships and synergies with indie studios from across the industry.
And since so many industry events were canceled this year, we wanted to showcase several indie projects and teams that Ubisoft has been collaborating with over the past few years.
Our first indie showcase is developer Machine and Mensch, who is working on the Curious Expedition 2. Let's hear more from the team behind the game.
Hi, my name is Masha and I'm a game designer at Machine Mensch. Machine Mensch is a small and diverse indie game studio with 8 wonderful employees based here in Berlin. Our connection with Ubisoft came through a program dedicated to create ever-growing relationships with independent developers, to talk about and share expertise and knowledge. We work together in mutual respect, which we much appreciated.
We're working on the Curious Expedition 2, which is the sequel to our expedition simulation game. This time, the game is set in Paris in 1899, during the World Expo when the Eiffel Tower was built. But more importantly, you will be traveling to these mysterious islands, you will be interacting with unknown tribes, fight dangerous beasts, find many secrets. Thanks to our procedure technology, every time you play, it's a new world, new characters, and a new storyline that you shape with each of your interactions until it becomes really your own unique adventure.
And we will have more indie guests coming up later in the pre-show, so stick around. Now, a while ago, Ubisoft released its very first live-action TV show on Apple TV+, and it's a comedy about making video games called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet. And to keep the show authentic, Ubisoft's Red Storm studio went above and beyond by creating a playable sandbox for the game that is actually featured in the show. So now let's head behind the scenes for an exclusive look.
This is the home of Clancy.
Okay. It's very Clancy-esque.
Yes.
I get it. All right, now I'm starting to understand.
Right.
I too keep all my awards at the front of my office. It's entirely empty.
So Mythic Quest is Ubisoft's first live-action comedy. The whole show is about a team that is developing a super successful MMORPG, and it's about all the people within the game development team and their relationships and what they go through in creating one of the world's most successful games.
All right. Incredible.
Thank you.
But are we sure that we're finished?
When we heard about what was going on, we weren't really sure if we were a great fit because we've always made shooters realistic. And we listened to the pitch and we were super excited about the idea. So we thought, all right, what does Ubisoft have that we could channel to fit this?
You're fucking me.
Yes.
You're fucking me.
But I'm not enjoying it. It's for the game.
When we started on the project, I think we imagined we would just make video clips that would run on screens in the background or something, so it would feel like a real game studio. But once we saw the script, once we started collaborating with the team, we realized, oh, they want a game, like an actual game. Of course, making an actual game would take years, so we started selecting the pieces that they really needed for certain scenes. And from there, it was not long before we said, you know, what if we make this actually playable? What if we make it so you can connect a controller and control the characters? And so that's what we ended up doing.
The thing that I love most is the shuffle. Exploding people's heads with this thing is straight fire. Crunch, man.
We had requests to do things like make a contagious viral disease in which people bleed out of their eyeballs first, then they bleed out of their anus, then they vomit and bleed out of their anus at the same time.
We set it up in such a way that you could trigger it in stages because we didn't know what the timing was going to be. The idea here is we can hit it and control the timing of when things are happening. So the next time you hit it, he starts puking out blood. And at this point, we would probably have the camera start panning back like this. And then you can hit the button again and you can see the blood ocean itself has started coming in. And so now they're all bleeding out of the back end as well. And then the final is just everybody exploding in bloody gore. And then this was Keith's idea. He wanted the skulls coming up and bobbing up and down in the water. So.
David, can we actually make this quick? I've got a lot of work to do stripping Blood Ocean out of everything.
Yeah. Releasing a disease in the game right before a global pandemic was not a great look.
Today was the first time we showed Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet to an audience. I've never seen it with more than 6 or 7 people in a room. And so I wanted to make sure that we gave them an opportunity to hopefully recognize that this is a giant love letter to them, to the industry itself.
I was a little nervous, I gotta be honest. I thought it was gonna be a little cringy, but it was fantastic.
I thought there was a lot of truth and in the humor.
It's about time that we had a show about our industry.
You could tell when the audience was laughing, when they really hit something that felt like the game industry.
I think it's brilliant.
All right, so if you have not yet seen it, the first season of Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet is available right now on Apple TV+, and a full version of this making of will be coming out over the next few days. All right, now it is time to fasten your seatbelts and start your engines as we head out to Lyon, France to visit our team at Ubisoft Ivory Tower to get an update on The Crew 2.
Hi everyone, and welcome to The Crew 2 at Ubisoft Forward. My name's James Reese, I'm a community developer here at Ivory Tower, and I'll be your host for this quick glimpse into all the exciting things we have going on over the next few weeks. It's been 2 years already since launch, with 6 major updates and hundreds of vehicles under our belt. And our latest update, Summer in Hollywood, only went live a few days ago. Let's have a look. Wait for you to get your hands on what's coming. There have been a few speed bumps along the way, but over the past 2 years, you, the community, have made The Crew 2 a motorsports playground where all players are welcome and where anything is possible. So thank you to the Crew Social, Exchange, Discord, Reddit, and all of our players. We've got a little something for you in-game to show our appreciation. It's the 67 Volkswagen Beetle, so let's see what kind of Hollywood twist you can put on it. That's it from me. There'll be more news dropping over summer, so keep your eyes peeled, starting with this.
In case you missed it, make sure to boot up the game right now to unlock the amazing 69 Volkswagen Beetle that was just shown in the video, and stay tuned in the near future for more info about Year 3 of The Crew 2. Our next video is from our second indie guest, Bossa Studios, who will be injecting a delirious dose of fun with Surgeon Simulator 2. Enjoy!
Hi, I'm Nate from Bossa Studios, and I'm a senior game designer on the upcoming Surgeon Simulator 2. So at Bossa, we're always keen to share game development knowledge, and Ubisoft has been a fantastic partner in this. They deliver lectures on procedural content development and player science. And in turn, we shared with them the ideation processes that we use to develop initial ideas into living, breathing games. Which brings me on to Surgeon Simulator 2. We've really doubled down on the physics-based pandemonium that the series is notorious for. And we've pretty much expanded on every other aspect of the game as well. So this time around, you're no longer just a floating hand confined to the operating table. You're actually a full first-person surgeon with an entire medical facility to explore. And in addition to the levels that you'll find in story mode, you'll now be able to create your own unique levels and experiences using Bossa Labs Creation Mode. So it's a really easy to use, intuitive set of tools that allows players to create either on their own or in online multiplayer with up to 3 friends. Everything players create can then be uploaded and shared with the community, and here surgery really is just the tip of the iceberg. During our closed alpha period, we've seen players create all sorts of amazing stuff, from bowling alleys to space stations, pirate ships to horror-themed escape rooms, and this is before the game is even released. So we absolutely cannot wait to see what players create when we launch the game this coming August. And in fact, if you pre-order Surgeon Simulator 2, you can receive exclusive closed beta access.
So for those of you who are just joining us, you are watching the pre-show, and Ubisoft Forward will start once the countdown on your screen reaches 0. And make sure you log into Uplay to unlock rewards as you watch the main event. But now, our next segment is about an Easter egg in The Division 2, so let's go behind the scenes with the devs from Ubisoft Massive Studio in Malmo, Sweden to find out more.
Running through collapsed buildings, climbing over fallen debris, and encountering makeshift living spaces is common for players of The Division 2. Within its post-pandemic environment, many players have spotted something a bit more unusual, which has left them asking, what's up with all of these rubber ducks?
So there's a thing in programming especially where you talk to a rubber duck, and it's a way to solve your problems. If you talk to a rubber duck and you just say things out loud, it helps. One of our artists decided to take this to another level, and he used the rubber duck scaled up to like a ginormous scale and put it in the level just to remind him to do something. And it sat there for a while, and the rest of us kind of really loved this giant rubber duck sitting there for so long. We decided to put little memorials to it across the world. What started off as little memorials, and then we started adding stories to them. So there's one where these 2 ducks are sitting on a bench having a date together, and there's another one somewhere where he's sitting with an umbrella hiding from the rain. The idea of the ducks is similar to the rest of our storytelling, where we're trying to add some hope into the world. Because you're coming in as a Division agent to try and save what you can and rebuild, but you need to know there's something there to save. So having bits of happiness lets you know like it's still worth saving for these little happy moments.
One shrine in particular became a beloved fan favorite, showing up multiple times across YouTube and Reddit.
So, Karen, how was your day?
Well, Luke, it's been productive. So the origin story of productive One of our level designers made an amazing pun one day, and we decided to make a graffiti out of it and put it in the game. And it became like a duck shrine, and players started finding it and wondering where it came from.
We've been finding these rubber duckies all over the map. It says here on the wall in graffiti, productive. And there's a large rubber ducky, bigger than all the other ones we've found. And he's got bottles of booze all around him. Not only that, but he has a couple soldier duckies guarding a parrot in a cage. But there's more just like this in the Division 2.
What's really great about our community is they come together. They find a common thing that they want to develop or find or get unlocked, and they just put time and effort into it.
We don't put them in easy to find places. So that means players are genuinely, hopefully enjoying just exploring the environment and finding all these little Easter eggs we've hidden around. And also not the Easter eggs, just the main part of the game and all the storytelling we put into it. I haven't found all of them. I don't know exactly how many there are, but they haven't found all of the ducks yet.
Encouraged by the community's response to the ducks, developers recently hid another secret in the game and made it the focal point of an all-new community challenge.
We actually put Tommy the Teddy Bear into the game. So Tommy the Teddy Bear is a trauma teddy mentioned in a lot of lore, but the bear itself actually was not in the game. With episode 3, we put a bunch of them into the world, actually opened up an Easter egg hunt for him specifically.
It's a nice little exciting moment when you kind of open Reddit and you see someone's found the thing that you kind of just snuck in under the radar and no one really knows about it. And some of the players are really clever. There's some hard Easter eggs that some of the level designers and gameplay designers have put in, and people have managed to solve it with no help whatsoever. Gamers are smart.
So now that you know, be on the lookout for both ducks and teddy bears next time you boot up the Division 2. We now have our final indie guest, Thunder Lotus Games, who were the 2017 winner of the indie series that took place in Montreal. So let's find out more about the beautiful coziness of Spiritfarer in this next video.
Hey everybody, I'm Rodrigue, marketeer at Thunder Lotus. We're an indie studio based out of Montreal, Canada, and makers of the games Jotun, Sundered, and our new game Spiritfarer, which is due out later this year. For the past 6 years, we've tried to make AAA quality games with a hand-drawn indie heart. Hitting a quality standard consistently in game dev is a huge challenge. There's so much trial and error on the path, and during the Sundered production, we were lucky enough to have the Ubisoft Entrepreneurs program in our corner to help us reach our goals. As co-winners of the Ubisoft Indie Series in 2017, we received not only generous funding, but also crucial mentorship and access to the Ubisoft testing facilities. So we're grateful to Ubisoft for their support and helping us make what would become our biggest success to date. We've taken that experience with us onto what is our most ambitious production yet, and that's Spiritfarer, which we're calling a cozy management game about dying. In Spiritfarer, you play Stella, the newly appointed ferry master to the deceased. And as Stella, you're going to build a boat, you're going to explore the world in search of spirit passengers seeking passage to the afterlife. You're going to spend relaxing quality time with them, you're going to create lasting memories, but ultimately, you're going to have to learn how to say goodbye to your cherished friends. It's a game that's near and dear to our hearts, and it's something really special. We can't wait to share it with the world later this year. So look for it soon on PC, on Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox Game Pass. Thanks a lot, and cheers.
It is time for an update on our favorite motorcycle platformer with the insanity, pain, and triumph we all know and we all love. Trials Rising came out last year, but I think the team from our Red Link studio in Helsinki has a little surprise coming to the game for the fans of the franchise. So let's take a look.
Will you be the death of me?
Hi, we're here today to introduce you to an exciting new endurance challenge coming to Trials Rising. But to make sure that we respect social distancing guidelines, Auntie and I decided to...
Do I fire the goose now?
What? Fire the goose?
Fire!
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gigatrack. Far from a remake of the classic track from Trials Evolution, this is an all-new journey across the world of Trials Rising, in by far the longest track that we've ever put in a trial.
Did you tell him it's the longest track ever?
Yeah, I'm telling them that. By far the longest track we've ever put in a Trials game. The Gigatrack will take you across many different environments, from the iconic...
Environment! Tell them about environments, please!
Yeah, I was just... Maybe you want to tell them.
The Gigatrack is like life. It starts and it ends and it's long. Depends how you enjoy it. And also one secret thing. 4 tells transfer to 1.
Prepare for the ultimate test of Trials endurance. Gigatrack releases this Thursday, July 16th for the low price of...
Did you tell them it's free?
You heard that right, riders. Gigatrack will be available for free to all Trials Rising players when it releases this Thursday.
You heard that right, the Gigatrack is coming to the game and it will be the longest, most insane track in Trials history, and it will be free for all Trials Rising players. Now for our last game update, the Ghost Recon Breakpoint team is ready to share some details on their upcoming updates. AI teammates are coming to the game. Let's have a look at the trailer.
The time has come. AI teammates are back in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And for all solo players, they're gonna be a game changer. Available at any point after you have reached Erewhon for the first time, Fury, Fix-It, and Vasily can be activated or dismissed at will. And from the beginning, you will be able to fully customize them. This customization includes all of the physical attributes, as well as gear, equipment, or even full costumes. Your teammates can be tweaked just as much as your main character. Just like Nomad, your teammates will adapt and react to the world of Aroa and its environments, and they will always follow your own behavior. If you decide to go stealth, they will equip silencers and crouch, or go prone when possible. But if you decide to go loud and open fire, they will stick by your side. When deployed, you can issue different orders to your teammates through the order wheel. There are 4 different orders you can give to your teammates. You can tell them to regroup on your location, to hold their current position, to go to a specific location, and to open fire on nearby enemies. These orders can be given at any time, even through your binoculars and drone. Once they approach potential threats, the teammates will notify you and mark them automatically.
Got a hostile.
With a good look at your enemies, you will be able to set up a sync shot where each of your teammates picks a target. You can even link it to your 3 sync shot drones for a simultaneous 7-target takedown. The teammates have weapons equipped at all times, a versatile assault rifle to accommodate all situations, and a primary weapon that you will be able to fine-tune. Indeed, apart from mark upgrades and passive bonuses, the full gunsmith is accessible to your teammates, and their weapon of choice will have a direct effect on the battleground. Depending on the type of weapon they have equipped, the teammates will adapt their engagement distance and rate of fire, from close-distance shotgun wielding all the way to long-distance sniper shots. Of course, if you get taken down, your teammates' priority will be to try and rescue you. To achieve that, they will first focus their fire on the surrounding enemies before getting to you. And they will expect the same from you, especially as you will be able to carry them to safety if the situation requires it. Finally, the teammates will also be your best allies in any vehicle, especially on the road and during high-stake pursuits. The teammates will be available for all solo Ghost Recon Breakpoint players on July 15th, and we cannot wait to see your reactions. We'll see you on the battlefield, Ghosts.
Hey Ghosts, I'm Grace from the Ghost Recon team. As you've just seen, the AI teammates are finally landing in Ghost Recon Breakpoint with our next major update on July 15th. Alongside the AI teammates, this update comes with a ton of new content, including a gunsmith upgrade, new PvP content, quality of life updates, and more. You will be able to try it all during our next free weekend from July 16th to July 20th. But that's not all, we've got one last thing to show you. Enjoy, and we'll see you on Aroa, Ghosts.
To anyone listening, this is Haruhi Ito speaking for the Outcasts.
stand against Sentinel's illegal occupation of Aroa. We call on all of Aroa to join us. Separated, Sentinel wins. But united, we cannot be defeated.
And now our very final video for this pre-show is another episode of our wow moments comparing the craziest and coolest clips from you, our players.
Anyone else want to try to do better than that?
I was gonna interrogate him. Oh, you can interrogate this guy though. Oh, okay.
Last stop standing.
So there's a line that people want me to yell, but I can't usually do it because I'll freak out my neighbours. But as you can see, I'm at the Crashing Ocean Beach and there's no one too close, so... Reloading! Fuck, someone saw me, I gotta go.
If you also have amazing gameplay segments you captured from our games, spread the joy and submit them on the link displayed on your screen right now. All right, guys, it is time for us to wrap up this pre-show.
Don't forget to stay tuned for our post-show featuring a deep dive into the world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Thanks a lot for watching this pre-show and enjoy Ubisoft Forward.
This is Ubisoft Forward. This is Ubisoft Forward. Explore our world.
Meet the devs. See the games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar and I'm very excited to be co-hosting the first Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
I'm Yusuf, but there's no time to waste. So let's head straight for the streets of futuristic London and see what the hackers of DedSec are getting into.
Feeling
illegal paintings spreading subversive and hostile messaging over the last few weeks across London are not the work of several people as was originally believed, but the work of an individual. The criminal, suspected to have links with the terrorist group DedSec, is marked as to be dangerous. Authorities recommend not to approach the individual.
First, they came for the foreigners, and I did not speak out because I was not a foreigner. Then, they came for the protesters, and I did not speak out because I was not a protester. Then they came for the journalists, and I did not speak out because I was not a journalist. And then they came for street artists, and I did not speak out because I am not a street artist. Eventually, they'd come for me, and there would be no one left to speak for me.
Right! Oh! Nice! Where are we off to, sir?
It's fine! I'll show you the way!
Okay! Sorry, miss. Jesus! All right, so we're in a total mess now, so let's get the hell out of here.
And there's nothing more debilitating than that.
Right.
This way, not to be able to do what you're passionate about.
After a long night, London is in chaos. The main arteries through the city are blocked. Hundreds of heavily armed Albion...
Well. Welcome to the Resistance. Here's a welcome gift for our new members.
But the disappearance of the criminal...
You could have told me it was a bloody costume party.
Try it on.
The new key suspect has been identified as David Ford, a 43-year-old London taxi driver. He has no criminal record, but is currently believed to be a terrorist. People have been asked not to approach him. The authorities advise all residents...
I'm Clint Hawking.
Clint has been a longtime creative force here at Ubisoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Mielgo that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film, Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team. And then they become the heroes of the game and the stars of your story.
And what are you doing in my flat? You with Albion?
Please, think more underground.
You with Albion?
I'm tickled, but think more underground.
What, DedSec? Yeah, right, and I'm Che Guevara. You done?
And they make the story not only, unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're, heroes that you've chosen and invested in. What would I say to fans? I guess I'd say, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Welcome to the Resistance.
Our London town. A modern metropolis. Built on history and prosperity. Only took 12,000 years to build it up, and one night to tear it all down.
Oh my God. Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Nigel's not the only opportunist who's taken a liking to this fair city. Meet Mary Kelly, head of the most powerful crime syndicate in London.
Be sure and spread the word.
She and her goons are using the dark web to sell everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on you to build a resistance and take back London.
All right, everyone. Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him. Her. Or even her. Everyone could become your next secret weapon. In our first mission, we need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes. Badly. Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone. Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come here, you soidoid shitboy. Jesus Christ, what is that thing?
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging. but it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
You've been approved for entry.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the Defense Minister on the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must. Criminals running our streets, illegals threatening our families, the police commissioner himself, assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers expect high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team.
That put another hair on my chest.
And doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He does have a slight drinking problem, though. And he's passed out. We'll come back to him. You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional. It's almost crass to call him a hitman. Some might even call him an artist. Here's the bastard responsible. Done and dusted.
Not bad if I do say so, innit?
Not everyone in London is a legendary assassin or a super spy, but everyone can be a hero. So get out there, find the best recruits, and build your resistance. It's time to take back London.
Plunging the player into a living, breathing city teeming with unique locales and characters has always been a central pillar of the Watch Dogs series.
So what goes into building those worlds? Here's Amanda Munt to tell us more.
My name's Amanda Munt. I'm a level artist on Watch Dogs Legion at Ubisoft Toronto. Being a level artist, I think, is the coolest job in video games because we do get the freedom to kind of like pick and choose what little details we want to depict. And we get ample opportunities to tell the stories that we want to tell in the spaces that we're assigned to. I have the capacity to hide things and, like small little Easter eggs. In AC Unity, there was a boat somewhere in the world that was covered in cats. And then it happened again in Watch Dogs 2. And there may or may not be something in London that is a boat filled with cats in some capacity. So I was fortunate enough to go to E3 last year. Some of the people that I was showing our demo to were from London. So no matter where I dropped them in the city, they would go, oh my God, this feels like Camden. This feels like Southwark. This feels like Westminster. When people are talking about some detail that I've put into the world and they're excited about it, like that feels so good as somebody who, builds these worlds with care. I love it.
And now some news for Brawlhalla fans. In just a few weeks, you'll be able to battle it out with your favorite legends on iOS and Android devices. now, whether you need a Tom Clancy action fix on the go or want to dive back into one of the most beloved fantasy franchises in gaming, we've got you covered.
Target is being held on the ground floor. Go, go, go!
Contact! Second floor balcony!
Contact! Mountain is down. Request air support. Target northeast rooftop.
Roger. Inbound. Danger close.
I need an EMP deployed now.
EMP imminent.
Get back in your cell! Hey, take this.
Don't make me regret this.
Speaking of Tom Clancy, it's been 5 years since Rainbow Six Siege first launched, and the community has never been stronger. In celebration of this milestone, Ubisoft Montreal has put together a special video to thank all of the amazing players and developers that have helped Siege become the game it is today.
In December 2015, a small team released Rainbow Six Siege. A game built on a strong vision, creativity, competitiveness, and team play.
Pour le joueur, le 1er décembre, c'est un début, mais pour nous aussi. Il faut tout de suite s'engager et dire aux joueurs, ce jeu est installé, tu peux t'y installer aussi, et nous serons là.
That original vision was quickly adopted by our passionate community, propelling it to a whole new level.
I got it!
This is such a special moment, and being at 1 year anniversary of Rainbow Six now, game being stronger than ever, more players today than we had in the past, it means the world to us.
But we also had our share of challenges.
Health that touches upon subjects like matchmaking, connectivity, all those aspects are absolutely critical to the experience of the player.
Through it all, we're always driven by you, our community, and together, we grow stronger.
There is no sequel plan, and we're here for the next 10 years, so expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time.
Look at this.
Tous les succès, c'est vraiment le résultat de autant de nous que de vous.
Ce jeu, il est autant le vôtre qu'il est le nôtre, nous, l'équipe de développement.
Now 60 million players strong, we're just getting started. From the devs that build the game to the community that plays it, thank you.
If you haven't tried it yet, dive into our new Operation Steel Wave update available now and take Ace and Malusi out for a spin.
A few days ago, we introduced y'all to a brand new multiplayer shooter. Now, it's time to venture into the hyperscape.
What was that? A hack in the hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there. Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions. We made some bad decisions. Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions. So, here we are. 10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities. But the people at Prisma changed everything. They gave everyone a way out. The hyperscape. In the hyperscape, the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone. If you get good at Crown Rush, it can change your life. But strange things have been happening lately. Rumors of people getting hurt. Users disappearing from the real world. A darker secret lies at the heart of Hyperscape. And we have to find it. Some of us are searching for a way up. Some of us for a way out. And for others, a new way altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future. To the hyperscape.
I'm JC, Creative Director on Hyperscape.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at Ubisoft.
For me, what's exciting is we started building it from scratch. Seeing it grow, adding ideas is really cool.
Hello, contender. Welcome to the hyperscape.
The game takes place in 2054. It's in a future where humanity has grown a little darker. One of the companies there, they are launching what's called the hyperscape, which is a virtual world and the internet of the future. It's the place where everything converges. Within the virtual world, there is a battle royale that takes place in the virtual city of Neo Arcadia. Then we also introduce a lot of new things. You get the opportunity to do parkour on the rooftops, to go into interiors where it's much more narrow, much more stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more opportunities to get cool items, but also more players, so it's a risk-reward kind of deal. We introduced the notion of hacks, special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport yourself, you can wrap yourself into a ball and bounce around the battlefield. So a lot of abilities that let you have fun, that are toys that you can play with. And finally, it's made as a spectacle, so all the viewers will be able to interact with the game on different levels through the Twitch extension. So every few minutes, there's going to be a vote, and viewers will be able to decide what effect they want to affect the whole battle. So things like changing the gravity, infinite ammo, or stuff like that. So players, while this happens, really have to adapt to all kinds of stuff that is happening. So for me, it's really exciting because right now, as we speak, we are launching the open beta, and so it's going to be available for free-to-play for all PC players worldwide. And I really want to thank all the players, all the streamers, and all the viewers who participated in tech test and who will participate in the open beta. Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Watch and learn how it's done. Perfecto.
Showtime.
That's mine.
Let's show them what I'm made of. Go time.
Watch closely. Here we go. この調子。
The digital world of the Hyperscape gave our artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Ana Maria Musca is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
My name is Ana Maria Musca. I'm the production manager for characters and weapons on Hyperscape. We have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our characters. We switch different outfits, different fashion statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them. This was the first lineup of characters. This is our default base, but even starting from the hair down, everything has been meticulously thought of. Would this person actually like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we plan to produce new outfits for these characters. So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game. We're very excited to see it in people's hands.
As we move into the next generation of gaming, Ubisoft has been working closely with console makers to take advantage of all the extraordinary capabilities these new consoles will offer.
Now we have a special guest to tell us a little more.
Hey everyone, Phil Spencer from Xbox. With Watch Dogs Legion, Ubisoft is supporting smart delivery. So you will get the absolute best version of the game on any version of Xbox you're playing on. On Series X, you'll get to take advantage of the amazing work the team has done with DirectX ray tracing to create an absolutely immersive version of London like you've never seen before. Ubisoft has a unique ability to create immersive worlds, setting a new bar that continues to drive our industry forward. I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I love the time I've spent exploring the world in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I can't wait for you to see the gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that's coming up now.
All right, we know you've been waiting to hear more about this game since it was announced back in April. And now it's time for a deep dive into the world of Vikings.
My name is Julien Laferrière, and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we want players to experience in this game. It is a personal adventure, you know, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available. Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper. Vikings were brutal warriors.
Shields!
And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system, to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat. Vikings were not only fighting face-to-face, they were masters of stealth and deception when needed. They used basically any sort of tactics they could use to win the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings. We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will relive the epic saga of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal, to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle. Your crew will assist you in all your raids, fighting enemies, battering down doors, and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms. Whatever riches and resources you pillage may be used to develop your settlement, giving you access to useful services, better tools, and new settlers. At the heart of your settlement is the Alliance map. It will serve as a record of the allies you have made, and a guide for future opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends. In Valhalla, you will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game. Every archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks, while others will use nearby objects to their advantage, including the bodies of fallen warriors. To face these attacks, you must find and exploit your opponent's weaknesses to gain the upper hand. Take the fight to your foes with a host of brutal new combat abilities. Snare them with a Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes. Incapacitate them with the new stun system to keep them at a distance, or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks. Customize your fighting style as you see fit, and become a legendary Viking warrior. All combinations of weapons are available to dual wield, including 2 shields. Not all situations call for violence. In this new land, a Viking must find a way to adapt. As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities. Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip past watchful eyes, an unseen hunter among the people. From capital cities and villages to the dense forests and rolling hills of England, exploration is vital to keeping yourself sharp. You must feed off the land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage to replenish your health and fortify your equipment. Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement. The more you explore, the more of England's secrets you will reveal.
Ravens, show no mercy!
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back. In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature massive assaults in which you will lead Eivor's army into battle against heavily guarded Saxon fortresses.
Today, we will reclaim her. Today, we fight for your land. And tomorrow, we rebuild!
For East Anglia. For East
Anglia. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will transport you to wondrous and haunted lands, inspired by Norse myths and England's pagan roots. It will challenge and surprise.
Thank you, man.
With unforgettable characters, thrilling triumphs, and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking saga.
Ninth century England is truly unlike anything the franchise has seen before. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday season on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia.
We're close to wrapping up today, but before we go, our CEO, Yves Guillemot, is here to share a few words.
I hope you will have enjoyed what you have seen today, and that you will love playing these games. I'm proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad, and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have another Ubisoft Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
fuerzas ultrapenetrantes. Estamos cansados de los farsantes, de los...
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect, but useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Papa.
Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Breathe, Diego. Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now, I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong. They will answer you with screams, call you evil, a monster, and give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? Are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has 2 basic parts. Our people and you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go boom. Do you understand now? Prove it.
And with that, we're wrapping up our first Ubisoft Forward. Today, we've seen the next generation of Assassin's Creed, the birth of a resistance in Watch Dogs Legion, the cyber chaos of Hyperscape, and the epic reveal of Far Cry's newest installment, along with so much more.
Remember, we'll be back later this year with another Ubisoft Forward filled with tons of game news and updates.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ubisoft Forward post-show. My name is Yves McGead, and this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to take a deep dive into about 30 minutes of gameplay, and we're joined by a very special guest here.
Hey everyone, this is Philippe Bergeron, otherwise known as Fizz. I am the quest director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
So Fizz, we're setting up here for what looks like an epic encounter. Tell us exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, so here we're midway through the quest that we're showing for Ubisoft Forward. Here we're looking at the assault of Berg Castle. So these are big moments that usually sort of culminate at the end of the story. And so here Eivor, our Viking raider, is taking a group of raiders and Fyrds into Berg Castle to go and take down Rued and his clan.
So who exactly is Rued, and why does Eivor sort of want to pick a fight with him?
Basically, Rued comes into play about halfway through this story arc, where at the beginning of the arc, this is something that happens before, Rued basically caused a lot of turmoil within the territory, and Oswald, who's the sort of elderman to inherit this territory, needs your help to take him down. Oswald having just been defeated in a previous quest, and so here this is revenge, but also accomplishing your ultimate goal.
So Fizz, as you're talking, we're seeing some of the combat of Valhalla. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes to combat this time around?
We wanted to basically add a lot of new mechanics to it. So we added like some dual wielding for the player, like a stun system in there. And we really needed to do this to sort of portray that sort of the brutality that comes with being a Viking in this day and age. So it sort of fits into that the time and the character.
Oswald. He lives. Oswald lives!
Eivor, is that you? Shut your ass, twig spine.
Here, Eivor has taken her entire army through the assault, and finally it's revealed that our Elderman, our ally, Oswald, is still alive, and Rued has him captive.
So this is what it comes to, Wolfkist? 2 Danes fighting over a filthy Saxon whoreson? If this swine is your prize, come and get him!
So now that we've seen that Oswald is alive, we have Rued within our sights. What's the next step here?
So the next move for Eivor is to finally face off against Rued. She has her allies, they can take care of the rest of the army. Now it's time to go one-on-one against Rued in one of our boss battles, actually.
Your battle is not yet won, Oswald.
And it's worth pointing out, actually, that here what we're showing is the player going and facing off against Rued aggressively, but we tend to always have to support a 360-degree approach in these things. So the player could have approached us a little bit more stealthily and gotten at least like a good critical hit on either Rued or his wolf, and so you can play this a little bit more strategically if that's your playstyle.
So we're not only fighting Rued here, but also his pet wolf, right?
One of my preferred strategies is to eliminate the wolf first, just focus fire on him. It takes at least one opponent out of the combat. Now Rued will have extra abilities that come into play if you do eliminate his wolf, but I think having one opponent less in the battlefield makes for a good strategy in the whole.
Your efforts. Only the cold dark of Niflheim awaits you.
Valhalla is my destiny. That fate will not be met today. Why doesn't they should be roomed, Wolf-kissed? Made thralls, not treated as equals. We are better than this. Than all of them.
Do not drag me down to the sewage you wallow in.
Why does a Dane fight tooth and nail for a Saxon? You'd throw in with these wastrels? These Argir swine?
Eivor, no! He should be tried before God, a lawful assembly.
All right, so we've defeated Rued, we freed Oswald. What comes next?
Oswald, in this case, prefers for Rued to be kept alive, and so you basically have to choose, are you going to go against his wishes or stay true to your nature?
So we have this choice to make, but before we get into that, I want to rewind a little bit because we just did this big, grand assault, but Eivor couldn't have done it alone. She clearly had to recruit some folks along the way, get some troops, get some allies. So let's actually rewind and see how we went about first gathering those troops.
Right, so when coming up to an assault, it's a game of numbers. Eivor can go into pretty much any location and be a stealthy Viking, eliminating some of the assets, which ultimately would be strategy, you can do that, and you'll have some of the ingredients or of the assets there that will have been sabotaged, but you still need an army. So here what we're seeing is Eivor going around the countryside and raising what we call a Fyrd, which is the men and the women of the territory who come up and fight in the name of a king. So here Eivor is going around and trying to convince people to fight in the name of Oswald to finally take down the oppressor that is Rued.
Defending East Anglia, defending you. Will you not do the same?
What? Die in defense of a lost cause?
Yeah, so she's really using like the image and like the leadership that Oswald had, what he meant to the people. In his name, she's going to recruit these people.
Pretty words, Dane. But the men of Theovard have their own battles to fight.
So we're told by this Reeve that there are troops, there are allies that he could add to our cause. But first, we sort of need to do him a favor. Is that right?
Yeah, so obviously these people have been run down by Rued and the impact he's had on the territory. So I think a lot of these people have sort of lost hope. And so you need to show them that there is hope. And so here Eivor is basically helping them take back one of their prized locations by taking a couple men and raiding a nearby township, basically taking it back for the people and showing that there's a reason to continue fighting and then get them on your side. When Eivor does this, obviously you have access to a full suite of abilities. So again, the improvements that we've done to the fight system. You have some brutal axe throwing in there. You have archery or like range combat abilities in there as well. So really, again, like depending on what your playstyle is, you can customize your loadout and go in there how you wish.
Fizz, we just saw this giant pulse go out. What exactly was that?
So that is what we call the Odin Sight. The Odin Sight is basically our interpretation of the Eagle Vision from previous games, and we thought it was good to sort of bring that back. It's basically Eivor's intuition. It's how she perceives the world. When the player uses that, it'll highlight basically interactive objects, like things that will bring her an advantage. So we'll have arrows, like health consumables that are in there. So it really is like a good way of sort of understanding the world and showing you like things that you can go and touch.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of things we can touch, we just picked up this awesome new weapon.
It's something we wanted to play with on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we have fewer weapons in the game, but you can invest in them more, so they become your weapon. And so depending on what your preferred playstyle is or your preferred weapon type, then you can go and choose, I'm gonna fight with this weapon and invest heavily into that.
Not only are we looting weapons, but we see something here called the Book of Knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
They unlock skills for the players. So here you can see the Valkyrie dive that has just been unlocked. We have these spread out throughout the world. So again, to promote exploration and discovery. As you travel through the world and you explore locations, you can find these books that will add abilities that you can go and invest in, put into your loadout, then go into the different locations with the different quests in the game and use those depending on what your playstyle is.
Now we've recaptured this village, we've secured more troops for our assault. Let's jump back now and figure out what we want to do with Rued.
The rightful king of East Anglia has spared your life today, and so it will be.
Compassion is a virtue suited for anyone, Eivor, including you. Thank you.
Eivor decided to let him live. Rued is really angry about that. Being a Norse Viking, being put to the death in battle is your road to Valhalla. So he was basically denied access to Valhalla in this situation. Obviously, all of these decisions come into play later on in the game, so we have very difficult decisions for the player to make. We didn't want to have easy decisions.
Yeah, you know, when I was playing, I decided to listen to Oswald and spare Rued's life, but What exactly is the relationship like between Eivor and Oswald?
So the relationship between Eivor and Oswald is an alliance. It's basically Eivor is surrounded by territories that initially getting into England are hostile towards her, and obviously if you want to set up a new settlement, you want to make sure that your neighbor is friendly. So here in East Anglia, Oswald is the man for the job, where putting him into a position of power would help her sort of secure her territory. So earlier on to the territory, Eivor comes in here, meets Oswald. The problems he had with Rued are sort of put to light, and going through the arc, you basically help him deal with Rued and aligning basically Danes with Saxons in one territory.
So, Fizz, we've completed the assault. We've gotten our hands dirty with some combat, taken down Rued. We have this big open region of East Anglia, so before we head off to Oswald's wedding, what do you say we head out, have some fun, and see what we can get into in the open world?
That sounds great.
So we see a cat here with a speech bubble above it, and you best believe if you let me talk to a cat, I'm gonna talk to a cat.
Yeah, these are some of our some of my favorite moments actually in the game, where we put out a whole bunch of events throughout the territory. And it sort of rewards, again, exploration, going around. It's a chance for us also to sort of showcase a different side of Eivor. A lot of the quests sort of deal more with like politics and warfare, and this shows a slightly more human nature to her. So it permits us to explore that character a little bit more. And so here, basically, like you're trying to help a kid with his cat, and ultimately get that cat to sort of join your crew as a cat raider.
You just said cat raider way too casually. You're telling me I could have a cat Viking raider on my longship?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. Perfect.
So yeah, as you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay here now. Can you talk a little bit about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark Viking raiders like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game, where you can basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all its treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
So I know past Assassin's Creed games allowed for songs and things like that to be sung on ships. Will Valhalla have a similar version of that?
Yeah, so this is something we actually wanted the crew of your ship to become like your home away from home. So we added stories and songs into the ship. So basically, as the player is going around, you could decide to have your skald sort of sing a song for you as you row down the river. But you can also decide, depending on who the raiders are in your ship, to hear more about their life. So you can actually queue up stories, and they'll give you a little bit more background on who they are. So you get to know your sort of fighters as you're traveling around the world, which is a cool moment.
So here we're seeing a bit of a different view. What exactly are we looking at?
We had this on previous Assassins, where you would like ride on your horse, and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship, where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
So, speaking of Viking songs, we have an activity here that's not exactly singing, but kind of related, right?
Yeah, so here what we have is what we call flighting, which was an activity that Norse people would partake in. They would like to have a battle of wits and sort of poetry, where insults would be thrown back and forth between each other. The idea was to try and have a good insult, but also to have a good rhythm and a good rhyme in there. So it's basically a precursor to rap battles.
Here's the silver. Now begin.
To all those whom I speak, they say Eivor's a clod.
Then you're speaking to fools and their knowledge is flawed.
Well...
How exactly do you go about being successful in one of these?
The trick behind a good flight was to choose the right insult, identifying the right cadence, and then trying to find what rhymed the best.
I'm known for my might.
Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Then you've clearly misheard them. My wit is immense.
Oh, you looked out with that one. Well, what a surprise. Eivor of the Raven Clan is a true talent. I'm shocked.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
Take the coin.
So now that we've proven our sharp tongue and wit, I think it's time for a bit more relaxing activity. So we're fishing here.
Yeah, that's it. So we gave Eivor a fishing line, so you can actually throw out a line and go catch some fish. This is used basically to play into our new health loop, where the player will lose health in the world, and it doesn't automatically regenerate like we would have in the past. So you actually have to go out and get some supplies. So you'll find mushrooms and some food that you can gather. But here, like you can also catch some fish and consume that to regain some health. We also will sometimes have it in certain quests. So it's a good way to sort of chill out on the side of the water and just, again, take it all in. So this is what we call one of our offering altars. So the idea is that you find these around the world and you make offerings to it. So it'll take like animal parts and stuff that you can find throughout the world. Here what you're seeing though is sort of like a fancy version of it, where as you do your offering you get interrupted by some kids that basically come and steal your stuff. So it's just a way for us to sort of showcase that like the systems and the activities in the world can sort of play in with some quests and some little events. So it's our way to sort of dress up these moments and make it all fit inside the whole experience.
Yeah, this seemed like a really sort of unexpected turn for what I thought was going to be kind of a simple interaction.
Yeah, and it's really what we were trying to do with these events is to give another dimension to Eivor, other than just, the pure rar Viking or the politician. Because you can imagine at some point that will grow old if you're always telling that version of the character. So it lets us really go into the depth of who is Eivor, what motivates her, how she can interact with the world outside of warfare and politics.
But your stealth needs work.
We were close.
And it also showcases like a different facet of the world at the same time. It's not only Eivor. So it just widens the breadth of the stories that we can tell.
So who exactly are these two children?
These are kids of East Anglia. They are going through tough times with whatever Rued's been doing to the territory. And so they're just here trying to survive and basically exploit the people that are there to make offerings.
It was kind of nice to see that Eivor wasn't really necessarily upset at them for stealing, and after you talk to them, you have the choice of helping them. You can give them food, give them some money, or maybe just say, hey, good luck, on your way.
Yeah, and this is something we also wanted to do a lot. Like, so here we're doing an event, we do it in quests as well, but we want to give a lot of this agency into players' hands so that they can sort of shape Eivor a little bit. Who she is, so it represents them a little bit more, and they can roleplay that a little bit better. And again, it just gives her like a little bit more humanity in these moments.
This is what large walkers should do. Provide for small walkers.
Here, large walker.
A necklace?
Yes, it's a St. Martin seal. You're welcome here anytime, large walker. You're one of us now. Visit us, okay?
I will. Take care now, small green walkers.
So I think AC veterans might recognize this here, but what exactly is Eivor chasing down?
Yeah, so here you're seeing Eivor running down one of our tattoo images. So this is challenging the player on free run abilities, but also for fans of the series, sort of pulling at their heartstrings for some beloved features.
So are we going to be able to tattoo Eivor?
Yes. By collecting these tattoos, you actually bring them back to your settlement, and then you can customize different body parts, having different tattoos everywhere. So again, another form of expression, and it's sort of to represent that Viking culture.
Fizz, one of my favorite things when I was just out there exploring East Anglia was coming upon a house or a building and realizing that there was a chest inside, but that there was no easy way in. And in this case, I saw all the doors were barred, but I knew that because there was a chest in there must have been some way to get inside. So I went around the back and, found a way in.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually caught on to that. You're pointing at something that we wanted to work on a lot on Valhalla, where we wanted the exploration to make you feel smarter. So we played a lot with puzzle solving, so making sure that every house that you find sort of appeals to you, like it draws your attention, and then when you want to come and explore, it's not given to you. You still have to work for it a little bit, so it'll challenge you on your observation skills, logic, just trying to find how do I get into this. So we play a lot with level design, quest design to offer challenges to players, and you basically come out of it like with a better feeling for the exploration, but you also get to see more of a story behind any of these locations, which we've crafted. So it gave us a little bit more time to sort of slow down the experience and tell a different version of a story.
A poor victim of someone's fury.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about exploration and just finding things out in the world, I was just wandering and came across this clearing and found this kind of morbid altar.
Yeah, so this is one of our bigger events that we have scattered in the world. So as Eivor explores, she can find altars like this, and by interacting with them, here it's a trap that's been set by this character named Regan. Now, there's a bigger story behind all this. There's multiple steps to it later on. So this is one of the moments. It permits us to go into a slightly more mystical realm and play with a boss fight that has more magical abilities, if we will. And basically have this awesome boss fight in the middle of the swamps. And so here the abilities that you see Regan using are a little bit on the mystical side of things. What's happening is Eivor at the beginning in that trap is poisoned, and so she starts sort of hallucinating, seeing the world in a sort of different light and filter. And so that's sort of what lets us go into the realm of the weird.
My rage, spirit of my father's rage, fill me!
Enough is cracking and crashing. Rest your demons.
So we just saw here that Regan belongs to something called the Daughters of Lyria.
Yeah, that's correct. By finding the other daughters, you'll get a little bit more backstory on who they are, so we don't want to spoil that too much. But it creates like a sort of greater story that is not on the main path in any way, but it is still very rich and adds to the lore of this world and actually plays into history.
So we just had a really exciting, really intense boss battle. I think it's time for something a little bit more relaxing and calming now.
Yeah, it's all about pacing yourself with the highs and the lows. So here we have a low chill moment of what we call building a cairn. So Eivor, as she explores the world, will find these sort of meditative areas where you have a pile of rocks that you could just stack on top of one another using physics. And I mean, yeah, the ultimate goal is to try and get the highest pile of rocks, but really it's about taking in the sights, relaxing, taking a step back, and building something.
Together we stack stones into cairns.
These?
Yes. Think of this as a test of mind and wit. Stack the cairn stones high and wide into any shape you like.
I mean, you can spend as much time as you want building these things, making them as high as you want, as weird as you want. I'm sure like a lot of these stuff will end up on the internet, like people comparing structures. And the cool thing is that once you've built it and you decide to get out of it, it sort of stays there. And so that's yours, right? And until the moment where you come back and you want to build a new one. It's sort of cool that we were able to give that to players to express themselves.
At this point in the demo, we've explored East Anglia, we've met some children, we've broken into a house, we fought a boss, we built a cairn. I think now it's finally time to go and head off to Oswald's wedding.
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, it's sort of like mentioned by Oswald that he's trying to get married with his Dane lady. And so as you go through the arc, that's sort of like the underlying thread. Really, it's about Rued creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony. And then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to play on in Valhalla, where being a Viking is not only about being a raider or a warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if someone knows how to party, it's a Viking. And so here, this is one of our opportunities to sort of show what a sort of Viking gathering is. And what's cool here is it's a good alliance of Norse culture with Saxon culture, sort of smashing those two things together and building bridges.
Yeah, I mean, what's a wedding without some drunk archery, right?
Yeah, so like, anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here, just get drunk, shoot some arrows.
Barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all!
My king! He...
So here we see the decision I made to spare Rued came back to bite us.
Yep, that's the decision you made, coming back. So as we said before, all of your decisions have consequences, and this is a big one.
I challenge you.
I accept.
You're basically presented with the option to sort of step in for Oswald, fight the fight for him, or let him go and fight his own fight.
Yeah, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let me finish this.
Oswald, you gutless Arya swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
How does this encounter with Rued differ from our previous fight with him?
So at this point, you've eliminated his wolf, so it's just him. And so he's angry at this point, and so he will start using his big gun abilities like fairly earlier on in the fight. So it's way more vicious, way faster. There's less strategy. He goes literally swords blazing at you. And so this is a fight to the death. And of course here, like, this is the decision you made to go and fight him, but there's multiple outcomes to this scenario. You could have let Oswald fight his own fight and prove basically his station as the rightful leader. If you had eliminated Rued, obviously this would not have happened. It would have been a slightly more joyous occasion. But ultimately, in all scenarios, you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory and to be a good ally for you.
Anglia a great service. I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together is sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on Longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet and bring them along for adventures.
Together. I'll gather my things.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough. Fizz, thank you so much for joining us. When and where can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia on November 17th.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Eric Pope. I'm the Senior Community Developer on Hyperscape.
And I'm Graham Jennings. I'm the Senior Producer on Hyperscape. Hyperscape's now in its open beta phase, so you can go to Uplay and download it directly.
So a little while back, we recorded a match for you so we could walk through it moment to moment, explain what's going on throughout a match of Hyperscape. There's a lot going on with hacks, guns, the gameplay. So Graham and I are gonna walk you through it right now, and I hope you'll enjoy.
So at the start now, you'll see the insertion phase. There's the three of them in the squad, so they're trying to decide on where they want to go. It looks like Helios, which is one of the landmarks, is going to be one of the choices.
So all the places we're seeing on the map right now with like a name above it, that tends to be a higher loot area, would you say?
For one of the big yellow letter ones like this one, this is one of the landmarks. Landmarks tend to have higher density and higher quality loot overall.
Which also means most people will be going there, so you might
usually have a few more friends if you go to a landmark. So in this case though, he's gone outside and he's found a supply crate. So he's starting to loot these instead, so he's looking for both hacks and weapons within them.
Right, so the looting phase, many folks will be familiar with, but in Hyperscape you do have those supply crates that you may be lucky enough to find. And what's the deal with supply crates?
So supply crates are placed around the world, so you'll hear them and then you can go and find them, and then inside them you'll find weapons and hacks. Usually you find slightly better weapons and hacks within them. Here now we've switched, so we're looking at Chimera instead. So he's in the landmark, he's in Helios now, and he's still in the looting phase. But as you can see from the red triangle up there, there's actually some friends, or not friends, in there with him just now.
Yeah, so the action gets started, okay, right here.
Yeah, so he's one-on-one, he's going with the Mammoth shotgun against someone who's using the heal hack at the minute, which is the red circle you can see. So that player's taking extra health at that point.
Which looks like it helped him hold his ground against that mammoth.
And I believe it helped him survive at that point. There seems to be a few other players in here just now, so the combat started and elimination's got his first kill. Oh no, so he's just been eliminated actually.
Yeah.
So he just, he's been eliminated and he's turned into an echo now. So he's gonna wait for his friends to bring him back. So he's gonna go to one of these restore points, which are basically places where someone else from another squad's been eliminated, and you can be restored and brought back to life at one of those points.
So the action pretty much never stops in the game. If you're eliminated, you're not out.
You're not stuck watching a camera with someone else. You're still playing, you can inform your squad as to what's going on, and then you can call to be restored at one of those points. There's plenty of people, like you said, who ended up at Helios at the end. There's at least 3 other squads.
So we can also see when you have a teammate who needs a revive, it's called out on your...
Yeah, the green icon you can see at the side is him calling for a revive at this point. So Mr. Gomi's busy eliminating other players, which will cause more revive points to appear as well. This guy's low on health, so I don't think he's going to last long.
Okay, so I see once someone's eliminated, they drop a revive point that you can use.
What you'll actually see at the minute now is both Chimera and Elimination are both echoes, so it's just Mr. Gomi by himself at present time. So can he survive this and get through? He's going again. There's still a few other players in here, that's for sure. So that was the slam hack he used there. So basically he projected himself up in the air, he landed, he dealt some damage, and he's managed to eliminate the other player.
Yeah, he got the elimination with it, which is pretty good.
And then he's starting to bring back Chimera at this point, so he's now back into the game.
Right.
So he's got to reloot and find new weapons again, because when you are eliminated, you go back to just your melee weapon.
Okay, so you don't hold on to your gear when you get eliminated.
No. So this is the start of the decay, you can see. So you see all these blue triangles that are appearing. This is how we basically do, map size reduction and zone reduction to bring players towards a smaller map into the center. So instead of having a circle that shrinks, we've decided to actually dissolve the map.
And is it kind of the same? Will you always know which districts are decaying first?
You can see from the map when you bring it up what's going, and you'll also see the icon when he turns on the left-hand side of the screen a second ago, which shows you where the safe area to go is. So at the top it will show you sector is closing, and then you've got the little icon of the person running with a distance against it. That tells you where to go to the next safe place.
So I see Mr. Gummy has pinged that spot to sort of regroup outside of the landmark.
They're going to take some height as well to start to be able to look for other players and to keep themselves a little bit safe. So he's seen another player, so he's starting to throw salvos at him, and probably the Skybreaker too. Yeah. You see the red exclamation mark? That's basically his teammates pinging and saying, hey, there's an enemy over here. And he's been shot out from behind, so there's definitely players around. You'll see him going to go high again to try and take some positional advantage to get up, because he knows there's another team on the roof up there. And he doesn't want to be below them, especially not with his salvo grenade launcher.
Well, what I'm noticing is that they're doing a good job of switching from street level to the rooftops. Is that kind of a good way to approach a game of Hyperscape, to not just stay in one area?
You should really use the variety between streets, interiors, and rooftop for navigation and to keep yourself safe. Rooftops are great to see what's going on, but you're also then a target to snipe. So you really need to adjust height and interior, exterior as you go, just to keep yourself safe. And to aggressively loot too, to find the best stuff.
So he just picked up a golden Skybreaker. What does the gold mean?
That is the top tier of Skybreaker. So basically, you can have a level 5 Skybreaker, which is what he just picked up. We will fusion weapons together. So if you have a Skybreaker and you find another Skybreaker, it will go to level 2. Find another one, it will go to level 3. And what he has now, as you can see in the bottom bar there with the yellow, he has the top tier of the Skybreaker, so this does more damage. So each time you fusion something, a weapon or a hack, it will go up in various different abilities.
So you're basically, just to loot up, to fuse up, you just need to find a duplicate of your weapon or hack, and that's all.
Yeah. So you'll see though, on the left, when you see the other players' names, you can see that Mr. Gomi has 2 yellow weapons and a yellow hack. So he has 2 fully fused weapons and 1 fully fused hack.
And how does healing work in this game?
So healing will either work by, I took damage and then I retreated and your health bar will come back up, or if a player has a heal hack, which he actually does at present time, so you see that in the bottom it says heal, he can throw that on the ground and then there'll be an AoE of heal, so both you and your teammates can come into it and it will heal you.
And enemies cannot heal up in that same AoE?
They can't heal up in your AoE, but they could also use the heal hack themselves if they wish.
Cool.
So you see them now, they're starting to hunt again. I guess I've heard some other players, because you can see them starting to move around, and there's a sense they're not alone at this point. And there's a ping for an enemy, so yeah, the combat started again. So this guy finds himself in the middle of a bunch of the 3 players, so he's not in the best spot just now. And yeah, that's the end of it. So if you managed to fusion one of his hacks then again. So here you'll see the decay started. The player found himself out in the decay as it was starting. He had no cover left, so you find yourself out in the open, and they eliminated him with a Ripper at that point. And another one down for elimination. He seems to be on a roll at this point.
And now he's fully fused his sniper rifle, the Protocol V.
Still quick check, just make sure there's no one else coming in. You don't want to have someone behind you at the last minute.
5 squads.
So there's still 5 teams left. And then we'll swap back to Mr. Gomi, who's still rolling with the Skybreaker at this point.
It's worked out well for him.
Yeah. The case starting to happen in this region too, so we're starting to move forward a little bit. They have a nice variety of weapons between them. You know, someone's got a salvo, there's a skybreaker, there's a ripper. They really split in terms of hacks and weapons, so they have a nice diverse selection in terms of game style. So you see him go up high now, he's probably going to use the skybreaker. And he has, and that's the end for Takeshi Kazuya.
Takeshi Casualing, so now you mentioned that username. You'll notice if you've been watching the feed, the usernames all seem pretty similar in this match. What's the story with that?
So this is the feature we call streamer protection. So it allows you to anonymize who's in the game. So that's exactly what you can see now. This poor player has managed to find themselves in the corner and tried to hide. Unfortunately, they've been chased in there by someone with a fully fused salvo. So that was kind of the end for them.
Dangerous.
So they've swapped now and they've gone to the Mammoth instead. So they've swapped out to the shotgun. So it's quick to change your playstyle. You can easily find another weapon you like and you can adjust based on map size, how many players are left, and continuously adjust.
And that countdown that just finished was a health kit event. What does that mean? What are these events that
So basically in the top right now, you'll see the cross and it's kind of ticking down. So this is said that this is the time left for the health kit event. Basically, every match, there will be cards played which change what happens in the match. So this was the health kit event. There's things like low gravity 2, which projects up in the air and you can jump over.
And are these just random, or are players triggering these events somehow?
So there's two different ways this happens. So there's a game master, Grace, who plays them in this case. Or if there's a streamer in the game, the streamer's viewers will get the chance to vote for which one they want to see. So it'll pop up, there'll be 3 different options, and then whichever gets the highest number of votes will be the one that's played in the game. So viewers are directly impacting the streamers.
And that's through the Crowncast extension?
It's through the Crowncast Twitch extension.
Cool.
There's only 3 squads left. A sector has contenders.
So here you see that you got caught in the decay then and fell through the building, so trying to move back in. There's only 3 teams left now, so we're starting to get towards a smaller map size, so it's going to become chaotic shortly. And they're just on the edge of this landmark. Of Red Tiger, so they're heading up. Here you'll see at the top it says crown appears in 10 seconds. So basically we have a crown that spawns in the wall. If a player grabs the crown and manages to hold onto it for 45 seconds, they will win that game through what we call crown victory. The only downside to that is once you've picked up the crown, everyone can see where you are and everyone's going to chase you.
So yeah, he's got the crown, the countdown is on. As soon as, if he were to get eliminated, it would drop and that countdown would go away, right?
Yes, and then whoever picks it up next, that person, the countdown will start again for them.
And that's only one of the 2 ways you can win a match of Hyperscape, right?
Yeah, you can win via the crown if you want to take it and maneuver. This is why you'll see the really high up to own the higher space, or you can eliminate all the other teams.
You could sneak around and grab that crown and survive.
Seconds left to stop the crown wheel.
If you use your hacks well and you use your movement and hide a lot, then yeah, you could possibly grab the crown, get to the end, and then win via a crown victory.
Wow. There it is. A screen I'll never see. All right, well, that was just one match of the frenetic, fast-paced game, Hyperscape, that we are both very lucky to work on. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching Ubisoft Forward in this post-show. As we mentioned before, the game's available right now in open beta on PC. Just go to Uplay to download it. And we're also thrilled to be taking part in a Twitch Rivals event with the information appearing magically on the screen below us. So Graham, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eric. Have a good day.
And we'll see you in the Hyperscape.